Hey everybody, Marty McLaughlin here from Extreme Fitness, aka Fitness Guru. I want to just spend a few minutes talking to you about one of the most abused, overtrained, and mistrained muscles in the human body. Can you guess what it is? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's the biceps, man. Biceps. It's probably the most overtrained muscle in the human body, for as small of a muscle as it really is. Usually abused most by men. I hate to admit it, but you see it in the gym all the time. So all they're doing is bicep curls. They're on a quest to fill their shirt sleeves doing bicep curls. They train biceps for hours. And they're usually right here in the squat rack where they don't belong. But anyway, I'm going to try to help you straighten out your bicep training and to start doing the exercises more appropriately so your results are quicker and safer. Because that's what it's all about, right? Staying safe, staying healthy, staying pain-free, and doing things right, which is pretty rare in gyms these days. But trainers like myself are on hand to give you the advice that you need and steer you in the right direction. So the first thing you need to understand a little bit about what the biceps really are, right? Biceps, bi meaning two. They're a two-headed muscle that lies on the upper arm, on the top of your upper arm, in between the shoulder and the elbow. So the muscle belly runs from here to here. There are two heads to that muscle, bicep. There's a long outer head and a short inner head. Both heads of the bicep originate at the shoulder blade, believe it or not, right in the shoulder joint. They actually turn into the labrum, which is a part of the shoulder. They join to form a single muscle belly down at the bottom, which is attached to the upper part of your forearm. So when the bicep muscle shortens, it pulls the lever closed. When you relax the bicep or you flex your triceps, the bicep lengthens. Two additional muscles lie underneath the biceps. One of them is called coracobrachialis, which, like the biceps, attaches to the coracoid process of the scapula. And then there's the brachialis muscle, which connects to the ulna. Contrary to popular belief, the biceps is not the most powerful flexor of the forearm, although that's what people think they got to do to grow biceps, man. That's all they think they got to do. When actually, the most powerful flexor of the forearm is the brachialis muscle, which actually lies underneath the biceps muscle. So when you're doing a hammer curl and you're in this position, here it is. I'm going to try and hold it that way. This is brachialis, and it goes underneath of the biceps, forms a little diamond-shaped head on the side. That's the one that's really gets that arm to flex closed. The biceps' primary function is really as a supinator of the forearm, and you can see it working. I'm not flexing it, I'm just turning it. There's three positions to note about your wrist and hand position. Number one is neutral, which is your hands at your sides. Then there's pronated, which is your palms facing behind you. And then there's supinated, which is your palms facing upwards or forward. The rotation of your palms from facing behind you to the palms facing forward primarily happens due to the flexion of the biceps muscle. So when you're thinking about what do I got to do with my biceps, remember rotation. It's one of the reasons why using dumbbells is so important, because you have the flexibility to rotate those through that range of motion. So the biceps is actually a triarticular muscle, meaning that it works across three joints ultimately. The upper forearm, which those two bones lay side by side when your palm is up, but they crisscross when you roll them over. It also acts on the elbow, and of course it acts on the shoulder as well. So remember, in relation to biceps, the number one job of the biceps is to rotate the forearm. Its next job is to flex the elbow joint, to pull it closed from a stretch out position when the arm is supinated. The third job of the biceps, and probably the weakest function, is that it really, in a very weak way, assists in forward flexion of the shoulder joint, bringing the arm forward and upward. So the bicep muscle, being that it is attached to the shoulder blade, has the ability when you contract, that's why if you lift your arm, you're going to feel some tension in your bicep muscle. It's helping to make that movement happen. It also can contribute to abduction, which is bringing the arm out to the side, but not from this direction, which is all deltoid related, and rotator cuff. When you are externally rotated and you lift that arm up, look where the bicep position is again. So it's actually helping to abduct the arm when you're externally rotated. It also assists in horizontal adduction, bringing the arms across the body when the arm is internally rotated. Right? So now I am pronated. So that bicep is going to flex to come across the front. So it's assisting the chest muscles in bringing that across. Lastly, the short head of the biceps, due to its attachment at the shoulder blade, also assists with some stabilization of the shoulder joint when a heavy weight is being carried in the arm. So it's giving you some stabilizing power when you hold on. It's helping to keep that shoulder in place. So that's why the shoulder and the bicep are so totally related to one another. A lot of folks think they have shoulder pain. Oh, it hurts, my shoulders hurt. It's not your shoulders, it's your bicep tendons. You know why? Overuse, training them too hard, training them too often. Remember, pull-ups uses your biceps, right? If you're doing chest flies, if you're doing them this way, it uses your biceps. Curls do biceps. Rows do biceps. Pull downs do biceps. Seated rows do biceps. I could go on and on. So the biceps gets a ton of training during your workout week. And a lot of guys I know, and myself in particular, we don't really train arms because they're getting enough work. Truthfully, one of the best ways to train your biceps is pull-ups. Keeping in mind that to flex the elbow joint isn't really working your biceps that much. It's working a whole host of other muscles. But as an accessory exercise, if you want to do better at pull-ups, then you're going to do some bicep curls. If you want to be able to row more weight, then you're going to do some bicep curls. Think of the bicep curl as an exercise that helps other exercises, rather than think that bicep curls is going to fill your shirt sleeves. Guys and girls, tone those up. That's not the way it's going to be. To fill the shirt sleeves, that's the triceps, guys. That's what fills the shirt sleeves. Triceps, 3 muscles in the triceps. Biceps, 2 muscles in the biceps. Which muscle group do you think is going to fill that shirt sleeve faster? It's triceps, guys. So you want to spend some time on a strong muscle group that will help you overhead press, push up off the floor, bench press, work your triceps. They're a tougher muscle group anyway, and they're going to tolerate that type of training. So now you understand a little bit about what biceps are and what they do. Now let's talk about how to train them, right? Because this is what you see when you're in the gym. Don't say you haven't seen it, because I know you have. Here we go. You ready? This is classic bicep training 101. You know you've seen it. I don't know what this guy thinks he's doing. He's working front delts a whole lot, man, but he's not using his biceps. Why? Look at the upper arm position from my shoulder to my elbow. Where is it? It's totally behind me, right? Because I'm not in proper alignment. But if I bring my upper arm back forward, where it belongs, now look where my bicep curl really was. It was less than half. I gave up all of that range of motion. So bringing the bar up is one issue, okay? But if on the way down, you allow that upper arm to move even a little bit, then when you think you're at the bottom, you're really not. You had room to go. And proper training is to continue with a full range of motion. Not for the first 3 reps, not for the first 6, but for all of them. If you get to a point where you're not able to keep up a full range of motion, you got to do one of 2 things. You got to lighten your weight, or you got to stop, because you're going to hurt yourself somewhere. You're putting more load on tendons and ligamentures when you're not doing a full range of motion, and you're not helping the muscle grow or get stronger or more tone. So upper arm position is critical, gang, all the time. This is no good. Look where my upper arm is right now, right? So my biceps are totally resting. I can let them sag. I can make them move a little bit because I flex them at the top, but right now my hands are behind my elbow, which means gravity's pushing straight down. There's no longer any tension on the biceps. But if I bring that arm back into its proper position, now the biceps are tight. So from keeping that arm in a standard position. Now I've got tension throughout the range of motion. I'm using the proper musculature to stabilize my scapula. I'm not driving my shoulders behind my hips, meaning that I'm flexing at the low back first. I have a soft bend in every joint. My ankles are flexed, my knees are flexed, my hips are partially closed, my core is engaged, my shoulders are slightly in front of the hips, and now I can work that weight without moving anything. Gang, try it. Try it. You're gonna have to lighten your weight, and that's fine. It ain't about the weight. It's about your form and about taking care of things along the way. Get strong. Don't worry about big. Big will come, man. But you got to get strong before you can get big, right? So think about that upper arm motion. It's got to be stationary all the time. Second now, let's talk about this bar that you've all seen, okay? What is its purpose, right? It's clearly for bicep curling. The angles on the bar, both the outer angle and the inner angle, are designed for two reasons. One reason is it takes pressure off the wrist, because as it's angled, it saves me having to try to externally rotate to get into that straight barbell position, which for some folks is hard due to lack of flexibility in the wrist and the elbow joint. However, more importantly, when you grab the wider angle, okay, you are putting additional stress on the inner head, the short head of the bicep. When you grab on the interior, more narrow angle, you're putting more stress on the outer head of the bicep. So as a bodybuilder or someone who's just interested in crafting their body, using a bar like this can help you to detail different points of the muscle. Trying to build better peaks in the bicep requires more work on that inner head. So working with a bar like this can assist that. The other beautiful thing about this bar is it really helps to keep everything in its proper alignment from the front. When you do a bicep curl with a bar, your wrists, your elbows, and your shoulders should be in alignment. That is the way that that lever is designed to work, and when those muscles are affected, the best. If you grab onto a barbell and you take yourself out of alignment because you think it feels better on the muscle, look at my elbow joints right now. What do you think is going on at the elbow joint? Overuse, straining of the medial and lateral epicondyle, which leads to golfers and tennis elbow, and a whole host of other issues that don't need to be there. Alignment is critical. If you can't pull it off, you got to change your weights. You got to rethink how you're doing some of these things and protect your body and get these muscles going the right way. So use the mirrors. Think about where you're at. Focus on the form. Keep your rep cadence in control. That way there's no swinging, there's no momentum coming from anywhere. Your body should be like a rock with every joint slightly flexed, so you've got no lockouts. If you still find that you want to drive your shoulders back and you're being too stubborn to lighten that weight, take a split stance. It's going to enable you to have a stronger set on your core and allow you a little more power. However, it's taken all of the core muscles to stabilize out, because now you're relying on the legs alone. When you stand in a square stance, you're relying on the core to support you, which is its job, gang. And that's what we want to do all the time, right? Focus on the core, protect our bodies, strengthen our low backs. That's functional training, man. It's going to get you a lot farther. So what else can you do for biceps? What else do you need to do for biceps? The biceps has one purpose. It closes this lever. So how many variations do you really need? There's so many. I think people invent them every day as I'm in gyms. It's like a bad movie. I don't get it. But there's a whole host of bars. Obviously, straight barbells are one. Without having to worry about an inner grip or an outer grip, if you can manage external rotation, it's going to work both heads of the bicep equally. So as a mass builder, as a general strength enhancer, the barbell is a great choice. It's going to enable you to work clean through a full range of motion and affect both heads of the bicep together. If you want to do a little detail work, change things up, which you should do. Always confuse your muscles, guys. They'll respond better, faster, and more frequently. Use the cambered bar, the easy curl bar, and change that grip up a little bit once in a while. There's also bars out there like this one, which looks a little scary, but these rings are meant to rotate, and it's beautiful for the bicep. Because why? Remember, the bicep is the strongest rotator or supinator of the wrist. So this bar allows you to go from a pronated position all the way through to a completely supinated position, which is what the biceps does. So you're getting the benefit of using the bicep to flex the elbow joint, but you're also getting the benefit of using the bicep to do its primary job, which is to rotate the wrist, right? Same thing that dumbbells do. Great thing. You got to have a little more control with dumbbells. You got to use each arm in particular, which is the last point I want to talk to you about. Use dumbbells. Use cables. They're great. Your dominant arm, and everybody's got one, and it may not be the one you think it's supposed to be, but the bottom line is the dominant arm is always going to be doing a higher percentage of the work. And if you're in a machine, you'll never know it. If you're in a barbell, you might not know until the last couple of reps when the bar's starting to come up a little bit twisted. But the bottom line is with dumbbells, there's no denying it. You're going to know exactly what arm is stronger than the other one, and it gives you the opportunity to put a couple extra repetitions into the arm that's fallen behind. Because we're always looking to create muscular balance. When you have muscular balance, there's no compensation. There's no overloading and underloading. There's no offset loads on your spine, on your hips, on your neck. So overall, you're going to have a more fit and balanced body and a better looking physique. Creating muscular balance is critical, which is why the functional aspect of bicep training is a little more appropriate. Work those pull-ups as best that you can. Chin-ups, I should say, not so much pull-ups. Now, pull-ups are going to work your biceps with no problem. The bicep muscle still has to contract in order to get you through that range of motion. But the chin-up from an underhanded position, you can see my biceps ready to act already. That's the best way to really drive into those biceps. To get that arm to close as you're coming through and down, it's beautiful. You're not getting rotation, but you're putting the muscle under an incredible load. And you're working your lats, your rear delts, your core, your forearms, your grip strength, so many other important things. So staying functional in your training is key. Don't spend an hour on biceps. Literally, guys, girls, guys, 3 exercises, 3 to 5 sets per exercise. Your biceps are done if you did it right. If you kept your alignment, you kept your form, and you fought for every rep. There's no point in going heavier than that. It's a very small muscle group that doesn't need that much training, like hamstrings or quads or even your chest, and certainly your lats or your back. Those you can blast for an hour, no problem. Biceps are a little different. Triceps you can hit a little harder. So you got to think about how you're training this muscle. You need to think about behaving when it comes to your form. Think about what you're doing. Take momentum out. Kettlebell, it's all about momentum, guys. That's what a kettlebell's for. Bicep curling, absolutely not. You should be steady as a rock and protecting your body at all times. So what are the important points to remember? Number one, proper alignment of the joints. Wrist, elbow, shoulder. Clean, straight lines. Number 2, watch the movement of the upper arm. Don't allow it to change its position. The elbow joint should stay in line. When you can't close your arm anymore, the bicep movement is done. This movement did not change this angle. All I did was lift my upper arm. It's not going to help your biceps get stronger. And lastly, don't overtrain them, guys. You're going to have sore shoulders. You're going to have medial and lateral epicondylitis, tennis golfer's elbow. You're going to have bicep tendonitis at its insertion points in the forearm. And it's going to hold back all your other training points. So give those recommendations a try. I think you're going to feel a whole lot better about the way you're training your biceps at this point. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me at extremefitnesspa@gmail.com. Thanks for your attention, guys. Go get those biceps.